All right, we are on air. It is Thursday, July 30th, 2015. And we're just going to do a quick check in, whatever, checking. We're checking on what's left for Backdrop in terms of design tasks. Um, we'll start reviewing what's left for Backdrop the product. 1.1 is currently out. 1.2 will be released on September 15th. And so between now and then, it would be great if we could get a few things updated. The admin theme is updated, refreshed, and beautiful as of 1.1. But we've got a couple of little follow-up tasks that could make it even better. The layouts UI, we know that's brand new. We put it in as kind of a minimum viable product. It works great, which is fantastic. We have a meta issue for cleaning it up, making it look a little prettier and slightly easier to use. So that's definitely something number 3 on. Views UI, this is something that got a lot of work in Drupal 7 and improved a lot, but there's probably more we could do. After we introduced the new admin theme, we noticed some inconsistencies between the Views UI and the rest of the admin theme, and I think that it's going to be hard to make any significant changes there without kind of breaking the Views UI, but it would be good to kind of reevaluate where we are with that and see if there's anything we can do to improve that. I don't think that's super urgent because it works exactly the way it did in Drupal 7, and people are going to like that. But if we could make it better, that would be even better. And then another thing that's been a really long-standing pain point, at least for me, is the field UI. It was not great in Drupal 6. It got worse in Drupal 7. It is getting improved slightly in Drupal 8. We should look at what they're doing, see if we can make similar improvements, and make maybe some of our own that we could tell them about and kind of share both ways that way, which I think would be great. There's like a big pipe dream issue. I think I've linked from the field issue. The way that we do things, because people don't think about what type of content they have based on the form you use to enter it. They think about it based on what it looks like. So my pipe dream was like to flip it all around backwards and have them start building from the front instead of from the back. But that's going to be nearly impossible because it changes everything. So I think maybe if we're going to do something like that, it's definitely going to have to wait until Backdrop 2. But there's a lot we can do in terms of improving what we have now, like not asking the same questions twice, giving some kind of indicators to how far through a multi-step form people are, just stuff that kind of help people get through the mess we already have in a way that's less painful. I think we can still make some huge strides there. So that issue is 779. I know there's a bunch of people who've been kind of thinking about it. It would be great if we could get some progress on this as well. And there's a whole bunch of other little tiny things we've been working on related to our new admin theme, just little things that are slightly inconsistent, things that make it more responsive, just anything you notice that's a little weird, create an issue, we can work on it and improve it going forward. So plenty of work to be done on the admin theme. But new front-end themes too. I think making usability improvements on the back end is super important. I also think it's important that people have a tool they can use without needing to add very much of contrib to it. And one of the biggest issues with Drupal is that you don't usually end up launching a Drupal site running the themes that are in core. It would be awesome if we could get a theme in core for Backdrop that you could run a site on, even if it was something kind of unbranded and blank slatey like Bootstrap. So we have a couple of Bootstrap-based themes in Drupal. We have one already in Backdrop. The erotics theme is out there. I would love to evaluate that for inclusion into core at any point. It can go in before Backdrop 2 if we find it necessary. We could also wait till Backdrop 2 if we thought we needed to change something about our theme system in order to get it in. But we also can include any number of other themes too, or at least should consider them. So if anyone is working on front-end themes for Backdrop that you think would make suitable candidates for core, so something that could stand on its own or be a base theme, I think that would be great as long as it was more usable than Bartik. It would be great to have more than one option. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this, but with every major version of WordPress that comes out, they include a new front-end theme. And so their front-end themes are like you know, this is the front end theme from WordPress 2, and this is the front end theme from WordPress 3, and they have weird names. They aren't called that, but it's kind of interesting that they have like a, you know, that's part of the next release. And that hasn't ever really happened in Drupal. Like it's Garland, but it's Garland for several versions. And I think part of that is just because of the way Drupal works. There's a whole bunch of settings that are tied to your theme, and we don't have that problem in Backdrop. So maybe we can look at how WordPress deals with its front-end themes and see if we can deliver something more similar. So food for thought. All right, we have a ton of issues on GitHub that are tagged with audience design. We people who understand design, so user experience related issues, things like reevaluating pages we already have and going, can we make this prettier? It would be great to get feedback on those issues, even if designers don't feel comfortable writing code. Posting pictures can sometimes be more powerful than writing code, because to work from, they can get something done. But if there's no picture, a developer won't do anything. So we definitely need design feedback on a bunch of issues, and they should all be tagged on GitHub. If you're a designer and you want to contribute, that's a great way to get involved.
What's the link? Is there a link for the feedback?
Yeah, there's a link in the agenda. It is github.com/backdrop/backdrop-issues/issues Q equals audience design. Here, let me post it in the chat.
That'd be great, thanks.
Yay. Yeah, I've noticed we've been having row-body issues on the video feed. I could definitely hear it earlier when Nate was talking where things get a little all garbled. Okay, so I think that is a function of our internet capacity over here. And I think that if that happens again, there's a couple ways we can deal with it. I think one or both of us can turn off our video feeds, and that might help. That helped yesterday. So maybe let's keep an eye on that and see if it happens again. All right, other things. We have a Backdrop CMS product style guide, which is fantastic. It's been updated to reflect the latest version of Backdrop 1.1. We have, I think, a few tiny issues on there that have not yet been implemented in Backdrop software, a few issues that are remaining to be implemented in the style guide as well. One of them is field sets. I know there's an open issue for that. I'm not sure if that needs work or needs review or what. I know we've got kind of a review bottleneck going on. Maybe I can work on that today.
The field sets, I think, are done.
Are they merged?
Yes. I think they were in one.
They were done, not merged.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're already there.
Okay. So there's just a checkbox on the meta that's not checked. I'm going to check it.
Oh, yep, there you go.
Yay! Okay, now I'm going to close the meta. Okay. Anyway, now we don't have to worry about that anymore. Sorry, guys. So that's good. That means that all that's left to do is kind of keep an eye on our style guide and make sure that anything new we add adheres to it, which should be super easy because we can just kind of keep merging those two issues together, and if there's something funky that appears, we can fix it. So thank you, Darius, for all your amazing work on the style guide, and thank you, Wes, for making it reality. That is fantastic. All right. We have a bunch of issues that are not related to Backdrop the product. Backdropcms.org, the flagship website, being our primary focus there. We have a whole bunch of new designs. Thank you, Darius. And I think last week, Wes, we got you some resources to get you started on that. I know you've got a couple weeks of being crazy busy in your near future. But hopefully forward on that when you're back from all of your presentations. If not, I was actually thinking about working on like setting up some of those views on the website and seeing if there are dev tasks that are waiting, because I know that the designs contain room for things that don't exist yet in terms of our data. And so if we could get a meta issue of like, these are the things we'd like to include as part of project module versus these are the things that, you know, we don't have enough data to aggregate yet or what have you, that might also move those forward too. So I was thinking about working on that today, but maybe after whatever else it was I just said I was going to do. I'll review this agenda later. Okay, so, okay, what we have for the primary website are designs for the Find a Module page, the Module page, the Find a Theme page. The theme page, I think, is close enough. We're going to hold off on layouts, Find a Layout and Layouts pages using the Find a Module and Modules designs as a placeholder. And then after those have been in use for a while, we'll do kind of a review on how they're working and what we need, and then we can revisit getting designs for that stuff. So I think we're kind of good on designing, which is fantastic, and start building. And I think people are really going to like using our website to find modules instead of GitHub. As much as I love GitHub, it'll be nice. Okay, so next up, Backdrop swag. So we have contracted the guy who made us our original dragon illustrations to make us a bunch more dragon illustrations. And we're going to choose 2 of them that we know we're going to want. But if we see like 10 of them that we love, we can pay him per illustration to buy them all. And then we'll be able to choose from all of those illustrations which ones we want on our upcoming swag, because people seem to love the dragon. So we would love to do a dragon t-shirt for Bad Camp, which we're going to have a Backdrop Summit on October 22nd. We'll figure out which dragon we want in the t-shirt. Button Frog has also come out with buttons of various sizes. We originally decided to order buttons, and then we saw that the buttons were like campaign buttons, and they're way too big. And then we're like, we want little tiny buttons, and now they have little tiny buttons. So I feel like we should get buttons. We already have stickers of various sizes with the dragon on it. I think it would be neat if we could do like the sticker is one dragon shape, the t-shirt is another dragon shape, and the button is another one. So if we can get lots of dragons like flying or eating or whatever, I think that would be really fun. But we'll see what we get in terms of designs. And I'm really excited to see those, and I'm excited that Market Green can make us more. So we should be swimming in dragons over here in the next few weeks. So once we get dragons, we'll work on designing other things. We did specifically ask to get them in black and white, as opposed to all of the other various colors our dragon comes in, just because Backdrop's main colors seem to be black and white. I thought that would be good for us. And it also leaves a little room for anyone who wants to do anything with the dragon to change its color and kind of have fun with it that way too. Okay, so let's see. We
I had a question about dragons, actually.
What was that? You have a question?
Who owns the rights to the dragon images?
I don't think anyone owns rights to dragon images.
Oh, okay. So you never talked about it with the illustrator?
Yeah, as far as I recall, he's granted us full everything on full rights on those illustrations.
So he handed you the copyright or just the license?
Well, he basically has said that we can do whatever we want with it. Which
so he still has the copyright. Yeah, right. Yeah. You just should get that in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would also be good to include. So since Darius and I just had this like crazy conversation about copyright versus license this week, now I understand the difference. It would be good to get that in writing and also put that in our press kit for anyone who wants to use those dragons, so they understand, you know, what's allowed and what's not allowed. Exactly. I think that would make people more comfortable in terms of doing whatever they want with it.
I would suggest a Creative Commons license, and you could go through that with the illustrator to see which license he would prefer.
Okay. Well, if he's giving us the copyright, then
if he's giving us the copyright, but he might not want to. You never know.
We can definitely clarify that.
No.
All right. I'm excited about dragons. Next item on the list is slides. Yay! We spent some time working on a rough draft of a Reveal.js presentation, which then Wes made awesome. So I know Alex and Wes, I think you guys are both doing presentations at the Drupal Camp Pennsylvania coming up soon.
Yep.
I saw your slides and I saw his slides, and they looked almost the same. So I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
we haven't talked at all yet. I need
Okay.
to don't worry
I don't
about
know
it.
if there's been any collaboration on that. But it was like, here's the slide deck, and you're both going to modify it, but you modify it differently, but it's still like kind of the same slide deck.
Right.
So I don't know if like you're going to do more of a like front end perspective, and he's going to do like a high level thing or a back end or what have you. But it did look like 80% of the slides were the same. So
When we talk, the intention is I'm the high level and he's going to talk more about back-endy porting modules and that kind of thing.
So maybe he's just got that in there as like a starting point where he'll be like, in case you missed Wes's presentation.
Right.
But yeah, I know he also is giving that talk this week at Drupal Camp Costa Rica. And so it could be that the one who's doing it at Costa Rica is the high level one. And then at the next camp, he's going to get into the back end stuff. It could be not the same talk at all. So maybe I'm completely off base. But I saw it and was like, this looks familiar. But anyway, for everyone else in the world who wants to give a backdrop talk, we do have a set of slides that you can do whatever you need to give the talk. So if you want to give a talk on backdrop and you're worried about writing a presentation, we have one that's like 50% ready to give. There's a bunch of slides in there that you can choose to include or exclude. I know Wes has been doing a bunch of really great work on making them pretty, making them reusable, adding things that I couldn't figure out how to do in Reveal. And did you get presenter notes going in there too?
Not yet. I got to do that still. But I got the graph back, and I just put two free links. One's the overall link, and then the two are the new pages. So I fixed the graph, and I fixed the Drupal modules page, and I added Font Awesome into it. And so you can just swap out, like everything's pretty straightforward, I think. Like I'm doing a lot of inline styles when it comes to like making something blue, just because why bother with anything else? It's so yeah, and then after I'm done giving the presentation, I will generalize it again and put together a PR that has this functionality.
Yeah, this is great, Wes. It looks amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, and I'm like reworking Reveal a lot. I also have a Drupal 8 presentation where I have more features that I'm going to pull into this one. So I'm using Prism.js for code highlighting because the one they include in here is garbage, and Prism's awesome. And then yeah, Font Awesome, and then I also made like CSS to easily do folder and file listings, so you don't have to do screenshots. And that's in my D8 one. I can show you that. So I want to like bring that all in and do a lot of like README suggestions and stuff like that, so that people can just make like brand spanking new, good-looking presentations without knowing hardly any HTML, CSS stuff, and well, knowing a little bit about HTML probably, but not having to know too much about CSS and how Reveal works.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
Cool.
So another one of our long-term plans for this is that anyone who gives a talk on Backdrop can just submit a pull request and say, here's the talk I did at X camp. You can include it in the deck, and then it just becomes part of an open source set of slides that include or exclude in their own presentation in the future. So hopefully if we can kind of all open source all of our talks, then anyone new can say, I want to give a talk on Backdrop. I saw this one by this person in this place and this one by this person in this place, and I want to pull those two together and make their own, which I think could be really cool. We could, I don't know, collaborate on talks and, you know, write your own too, obviously. But
yeah, I kind of wonder.
To get all those in the same place.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, Jen, if even trying to aggregate them in the same place might just be more work than would actually be beneficial. Like, I mean, maybe we should just let it be federated and everybody just kind of, I mean, hopefully they would cross-link when they pulled from other things, but like Wes immediately ran into like, you know, he could do a lot more if he had direct access to it and then just started working on it. And there'll be, you know, another Wes someday that will want to do the same thing, or he's like, oh no, I'm gonna, you know, totally trick out this set of slides, and he's not gonna wait to, you know, to get access to a repository. He'll just do it in his own repository.
Well, they should be able to fork it, and that's what I've done. And
yeah.
But I structured the repo so that you could just add more indexed or more HTML files that each be their own presentation. So it could go either way. It's already set to house a bunch of presentations.
Okay, okay. Huh. Okay.
There's like a backdrop theme that, like, if you want to do a backdrop related talk, there's a theme that will work with it. And then if you want to write your own talk that has nothing to do with any of the other ones, you can, but you can also submit it back. So if someone's like, oh, I did a tuning backdrop. It doesn't have anything to do with anything we've done before, but maybe they want to use the backdrop theme in the reveal kit and whatever else. And so, sure, everyone will write their own talks and they'll do their own things, but if anyone wants to contribute it back, we can create a repository of talks in a public space that anyone can find. And sure, I don't think everyone will do it, but I think being available to host those things in a central place might be really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to make a theming specific talk before too long, and it'd be cool to have like the intro, the theming talk, and like a back-endy talk or something.
Site building talk.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see whether people end up actually using it. I think it's awesome that we can. I would like to use it. I'm glad you would like to use it. That makes me happy. Just just a couple of us. It seems completely worthwhile. So yay. Another issue that's kind of been ongoing for a long time is that Backdrop, though it has a logo and a dragon, it might be good to have some more branding assets for things like our Twitter and Facebook pages. I know we've gotten a little bit of movement on that lately, like taglines and imagery and photos and not photos and textures and what have you. But it would be great if we could come up with kind of a whole suite of things we could use to brand anything that's backdrop related that's not like a backdrop website. And so that is also a really good place for designers to get involved if you feel like you're not comfortable writing code for a backdrop theme yet. We need images. We need patterns, we need all that stuff as well. So that's a good place for people to jump into. I don't know if we have an issue for that. I know the last time someone worked on that, I got an email, which seemed like helpful, but not public. So I don't know where we should put that. I mean, I guess maybe under Backdrop Ops somewhere. Maybe I'll create one and post the image we got and the feedback we got on it. Or Darius, I know you had feedback on it. Maybe I'll just ping you and ask you to put that in the issue queue so it comes from you and not me.
Okay.
Paste is allowed.
Sure.
But yeah, then at least if someone else comes in and wants to work on it, they can score. So I'll try and set that today. And then in a bigger picture, we also have some branding guidelines on the Backdrop Press Kit, which I think are probably good enough as is, but if anyone has any feedback on those, that would be useful. And we also have a human interface guidelines Git repository, which we were hoping to be able to document all of the interface patterns that we include in Backdrop and when they would be used. I don't think any work has been done on that in kind of a while. It would be great to have those baseline parts be filled out and reference what's in our current admin theme. I know there's some of that still needs a little bit of work and review, and we should definitely review the site to make sure it's consistent and adhere to our guidelines, but it's hard to do that without guidelines first, so we've got a chicken and egg problem going on here. But if anyone is super interested in human-machine interaction and wants to study Backdrop, and the results of that study should be this document, that would be fantastic. Again, not super high priority, but it would be super useful to have that for our growing contrib community to have something to refer to as creating interfaces. And that's all we have on we should talk about today while we're all here. Any other questions, comments? Anything should be added to weekly agenda?
Yeah, let's see, am I muted? No. I'm adding an item here. This human interface guidelines one, like something that's come up real recently, is filters. Right now we're trying to figure out a better UI for filters, and there's all of these problems where the filter UI is just kind of, it's basically not using any patterns right now. It's just a straight up list with, like, I mean, it's got table drag and stuff like that, but they're trying to figure out like if dialogues are appropriate or if vertical tabs are appropriate or what's appropriate here. And it's a good example of if we had a pretty well-defined pattern that would work here, then we would use it. But we're not really sure what pattern to use. We've got a lot of patterns, but we're not really sure which ones are the most appropriate for this situation. So a good example of the human interface guidelines and the kind of problems we're facing. This one might be a little bit more complicated than usual, but that's what would make it a great example.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, then I think we'll let you go. And we have our developer check-in meeting in about half an hour. So we'll see some of you then. But thanks for joining the meeting, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. If not before.
Okay, thanks, guys.
See ya.